So today we're going to finish lesson 4.1a, the table on the property. So you want to go to page 13 in your student edition for module 4. So first we have the identity property of addition, which we have discussed at the beginning of this lesson. So the identity property of addition, if we have a plus 0, it equals a. So what that means is if we have a number and we add 0 to it, we get the same result. So if we add 0 to any number, we get the same number back. So if we have, for example, if we have 3 plus 0, we get the same result, which is 3. If we have 5 plus 0, we get the same result, which is 5. If you have x plus 0, you get x. Okay. For the identity property of multiplication, if you multiply any number by 1, you get the same number back, or it doesn't change your result. So if you have a times 1, that's just going to equal a. So the meaning, if you multiply a number by 1, it does not change the number. So for example, if you have 3 times 1, that equals 3. If you have 5 times 1, that equals 5. If you have x times 1, that equals x. The multiplicative property of 0 says that if you multiply any value by 0, you get 0. So if I have a times 0, that's going to equal 0. So the meaning would be if you multiply any value by 0, you get 0 as your result. So for example, if you have 1 times 0, it'll equal 0. If you have negative 9.52 times 0, you get 0. If you have 2/3 times 0, you get 0. So those are some examples of how you would use this property. The additive inverse property says that if you add a number and its opposite, you're going to get 0. So for example, a plus negative a equals 0. That would be your algebraic statement. So for our meaning, if you add a value or a number and its opposite, you get 0 as the result. So for example, I could have 5 plus its additive inverse or opposite. 5 plus negative 5 would be 0. 3 plus negative 3 would be 0. If I have x plus negative x, that would be 0. The multiplicative inverse property says if you multiply a number by its inverse, the result is 1. So for example, if I have a, the inverse of a, or the multiplicative inverse of a, would be 1 over a. If I multiply a times 1 over a, I get 1. So multiplying a number by its inverse, in other words, you could say that's the reciprocal, will result in 1. So if I multiply 3 times 1 over 3, that's going to equal 1. If I multiply 5 times 1 over 5, that's going to equal 1. If I multiply 2/3 times its reciprocal, which is 3 over 2, I'm going to get 1. If I multiply x times 1 over x, I'm going to get 1. So you should have completed page 13 in lesson 4.1a. So make sure you've completed this chart. Feel free to rewind this video if you missed something or still need to complete the chart, and refer to your notes as you are doing your assignment.